Women over 60. 5 signs you've become the woman every man admires. There comes a moment in every woman's journey when she realizes she has become something magnificent. Not because she's trying to impress anyone, but because 6 decades of living have refined her into someone genuinely admirable. She carries herself differently, speaks with quiet authority, and possesses a magnetic quality that draws respect and appreciation from everyone she encounters. I'm going to reveal 5 unmistakable signs that you've reached this elevated state, that you've become the kind of woman who commands genuine admiration, not through performance or effort, but through the natural expression of who you've grown to be through experience, wisdom, and authentic self-development. These signs aren't about perfection or having it all figured out. They're about the beautiful transformation that happens when a woman has done the inner work of living fully and has emerged with qualities that make others think, now that's a woman worth knowing and respecting. Understanding these signs will help you recognize and celebrate your own growth and perhaps inspire you to continue developing the qualities that make mature women genuinely magnetic and deeply admired. And if insights like these resonate with you, if you enjoy exploring what makes relationships and personal growth meaningful at our age, you might find value in the conversations we have here regularly. There's something special about a community of women who understand that our most powerful years can be ahead of us, not behind us.
Sign number 1. You speak your truth without apology. The first sign you've become the woman every man admires is that you express your authentic thoughts, opinions, and feelings without unnecessary apology or the exhausting need to soften everything you say to make others comfortable. Maya Angelou said, "There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you." Admirable women have learned to tell their stories, share their perspectives, and express their truth with the confidence that comes from knowing their voice matters and their experiences have value. This doesn't mean being harsh or inconsiderate. It means speaking with the quiet authority that comes from having lived, learned, and formed opinions based on real experience. You no longer preface every statement with, "I might be wrong, but," or end every opinion with, "But that's just me." You speak with the assurance of someone who has earned the right to her perspectives. Robert, 69, described what he finds compelling about Margaret. She says what she thinks clearly and directly, but with such grace and consideration. When she disagrees with something, she doesn't apologize for having a different opinion. She simply shares her perspective with confidence. There's something incredibly attractive about a woman who knows her own mind and isn't afraid to show it. The psychology behind this attraction is profound. When someone speaks without unnecessary apology, it signals self-respect and inner confidence. Men are drawn to this quality because it indicates emotional maturity and the kind of security that makes for stable, honest relationships. This shows up as expressing opinions without excessive hedging or apology, sharing your preferences and needs clearly and directly, offering advice or insights when appropriate without downplaying your expertise, setting boundaries with calm authority rather than aggressive defensiveness, and speaking about your accomplishments and experiences without false modesty. Women who've reached this level of authentic expression have learned that their voice is valuable, their opinions matter, and their truth deserves to be heard. They've outgrown the people-pleasing tendency to modify their authentic expression to avoid any possible discomfort in others.
Sign number 2. You radiate contentment without complacency. The second sign is that you possess a deep contentment with who you are and where you are in life, while still maintaining curiosity and openness to growth and new experiences. Eleanor Roosevelt observed, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost." Admirable women have learned to be deeply satisfied with their lives while remaining excited about what's still possible. This contentment isn't resignation or settling, it's the peaceful satisfaction that comes from having built a life you're proud of while remaining open to its continued evolution. You're not desperately seeking validation, constantly comparing yourself to others, or feeling like you need to prove your worth to anyone. David, 67, explained what draws him to Linda. "She's genuinely happy with her life. She's not looking for someone to complete her or fix her problems or provide her identity. She's a complete person who's choosing to share her already full life with me. That contentment is incredibly attractive because it means I get to be part of something beautiful rather than responsible for creating someone's happiness." The psychology involves security and abundance. When someone radiates contentment, it signals that they're emotionally and psychologically abundant rather than needy. This creates attraction because it promises partnership rather than caretaking, enhancement rather than rescue. If you recognize the magnetic power of authentic contentment, a gentle tap of the thumbs up helps other women discover these insights too. This contentment manifests as being genuinely satisfied with your life choices and accomplishments, not constantly seeking external validation or approval. Maintaining enthusiasm for new experiences without desperate need for excitement. Expressing gratitude for what you have while remaining open to growth. And projecting an energy of abundance rather than lack or neediness. The key distinction: this isn't complacency or lack of ambition, it's the secure foundation from which continued growth becomes joy rather than necessity.
Sign number 3. You choose quality over quantity in everything. The third sign is that you've developed exquisite judgment about what deserves your time, energy, and attention, choosing depth, quality, and meaning over surface attractions, busyness, or social obligations. Carl Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Admirable women have learned who they truly are and make choices that honor that authentic self rather than trying to be everything to everyone. This refined judgment shows up in how you choose friends, activities, relationships, and ways to spend your precious time. You're no longer trying to maintain superficial connections or participate in activities that don't genuinely enrich your life. You've learned to say no gracefully to preserve your yes for what truly matters. Thomas, 68, described what he admires about Patricia. She has incredible taste. Not expensive taste, but refined taste. She chooses friends who genuinely care about her rather than just maintaining a large social circle. She invests in experiences that have real meaning rather than just staying busy. Everything about her life reflects thoughtful choice rather than social obligation. The psychology reveals sophisticated self-awareness. When someone consistently chooses quality over quantity, it demonstrates that they know their own values and have the confidence to live by them rather than by others' expectations. This shows up as maintaining meaningful friendships rather than numerous superficial connections, choosing activities that genuinely enrich your life rather than just filling time, investing in experiences and possessions that have lasting value rather than temporary appeal, declining social obligations that don't align with your values or interests, and generally creating a life of intention rather than accident. Sign number 4. You handle challenges with grace and wisdom.
The fourth sign is that you approach life's inevitable difficulties with the kind of grace and wisdom that can only come from having navigated many challenges successfully and learned from both your triumphs and mistakes. Marcus Aurelius taught, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Admirable women have realized this truth and developed the emotional regulation and perspective that allow them to handle difficulties without being overwhelmed or defeated by them. This doesn't mean you don't feel stress, sadness, or frustration. It means you've learned to process these emotions without letting them control your responses or define your identity. You face challenges with the confidence of someone who has survived difficult times before and knows she can do it again. James, 66, shared what he finds remarkable about Susan. When her mother became ill and she had to coordinate care from another state, I watched her handle an incredibly stressful situation with such grace and competence. She felt the emotions, worry, sadness, frustration, but she didn't let them paralyze her or make her bitter. She just methodically handled what needed to be handled while still being kind to everyone involved. The psychology involves emotional maturity and resilience. When someone handles challenges with grace, it signals deep inner strength and the kind of stability that makes them valuable partners during life's inevitable difficulties. If you're recognizing these qualities in yourself or aspiring to develop them, you might appreciate the deeper conversations we have in this community about growing into our most powerful selves. This grace manifests as approaching problems with calm problem-solving rather than emotional reaction, maintaining perspective about what truly matters when facing difficulties, processing emotions without letting them drive destructive behavior, learning from challenges rather than just enduring them, and helping others navigate their difficulties through your example and wisdom. Sign number 5. You inspire others without trying. The fifth sign is that you naturally inspire other people, not through preaching or performing, but simply through the example of how you live, how you treat others, and how you navigate the world with authenticity and grace. Buddha taught, "Thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared." Admirable women have become candles that light others without dimming themselves. This inspiration happens naturally because you've become someone worth emulating. People notice how you handle situations, how you treat others, how you carry yourself, and they find themselves wanting to develop similar qualities. You don't have to tell people how to live. They see it in how you live. William, 70, described Carol's impact. "People are drawn to her everywhere we go, not because she's trying to impress anyone, but because there's something about her presence that makes people feel better about themselves and more hopeful about life. Waitresses light up when she speaks to them. Her friends constantly ask for her advice, and even strangers seem to feel comfortable opening up to her." The psychology involves authentic leadership. When someone inspires others naturally, it's because they've developed genuine wisdom, compassion, and authenticity that others recognize as valuable and worth learning from. This inspiration shows up as people seeking your advice and perspective on important matters. Others commenting on how your presence makes them feel more positive or hopeful. Younger people looking to you as an example of how to age gracefully. Friends and family members adopting perspectives or behaviors they've learned from you, and generally being someone others point to as an example of living well.
These signs don't appear overnight. They're the result of decades of living, learning, making mistakes, growing from challenges, and gradually developing the confidence and wisdom that come from experience.
They represent the beautiful flowering of a woman who has done the inner work of understanding herself, accepting her journey, and emerging with qualities that make her genuinely valuable and attractive to others. If you recognize these signs in yourself, celebrate them. They represent real accomplishments in the art of living well. If you're still developing some of these qualities, be patient with yourself. They're the natural result of continued growth and self-awareness. The goal isn't perfection. It's becoming the most authentic, wise, and graceful version of yourself that your life experiences have made possible. These qualities draw genuine admiration because they represent what people aspire to become: authentic, confident, wise, graceful, and inspiring. When someone encounters these qualities in another person, they recognize something valuable and rare. Men are particularly drawn to these qualities because they suggest emotional maturity, stability, and the kind of depth that makes for meaningful relationships. These aren't surface attractions that fade. They're character qualities that become more beautiful with time. When you embody these qualities, you don't just improve your own life, you positively impact everyone around you. Your authenticity gives others permission to be authentic. Your contentment inspires others to find their own peace. Your refined choices encourage others to examine their own priorities. Your grace under pressure provides a model for handling difficulties. Your natural inspiration helps others believe in their own potential for growth. Ladies, if you recognize these 5 signs in yourself, you've achieved something truly beautiful. You've become a woman of genuine substance and admirable character. If you're still developing these qualities, you're on a worthy journey toward becoming your most powerful and authentic self. These signs, speaking your truth without apology, radiating contentment without complacency, choosing quality over quantity, handling challenges with grace, and inspiring others naturally, represent the magnificent flowering of a woman who has lived fully and learned deeply. You don't need to be perfect to be admirable. You just need to be authentically yourself, grounded in wisdom, graceful in your approach to life, and generous in sharing the light you've developed through your journey. If these insights have sparked something in you, if you're curious about continuing to grow into the most admirable version of yourself, consider joining our community here. We explore these deeper questions about what makes life meaningful and relationships fulfilling at our age. Sometimes the most profound conversations happen when women who understand the value of wisdom gather to share what they've learned about living well. You are already remarkable. These signs simply help you recognize and celebrate the magnificent woman you've become through your years of experience, growth, and authentic self-development. Own your admirability. You've earned it, every bit of it.